Hello, YouTube. It's episode 2. You know, I fucking love going to the movie theater. The unlimited liquid butter, the Dolby surround sound. I mean, where else can you eat a hot dog in a freezing room that's entirely silent? I mean, like, yes. Correct, yes. After I made the last video, I was like, what do I want to paint? And I thought about how, I don't know, I'm just a movie person. I feel like you're either a movie person, a show person, or a music person. Like, sure, you could be all of those things, but usually there's one thing that you like really gravitate to as a form of media. And for me, that's just always been movies. So I wanted to paint a scene from the movie Beetlejuice, because it was the first movie I saw as a kid that made me realize that scary things can be funny. And that was such an exciting realization, that something can be both terrifying and make me smile. And maybe that's where my love for monsters started. What freaked you guys the most out as a kid? For me, I think it was aliens, just because it seemed the most plausible. Not to mention my dad swears he saw a flying saucer in the desert once. So watching Signs, watching War of the Worlds, I ended up sobbing for days. To be fair though, I cried and sobbed when my aunt called me silly once. So I had my art show like a week or so ago. It was a cute little thing. Kind of nerve-wracking talking to people about stuff that you care about, but at the same time, it's like cool to see all this other art and be inspired. I don't know, there's usually alcohol, which is nice. One of my favorite memories involving a movie is actually something that my dad did when I was in like, I don't know, 2nd grade or something. I honestly really love how dumb kids are. Like, we believed in Santa. We believed in the Tooth Fairy. We believe that if a person dies in a movie, they die in real life. Well, at least I did. But this one was pretty bad. What had happened was... So when I was a kid, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years old, brain still developing, no concept of reality, I was watching E.T. with my sister in the living room. Okay, and there's a scene in the movie where the main kid is like, I'm gonna stand up for the frogs in my class where I have to dissect a frog, and I'm gonna let all the frogs go. And eventually everybody starts letting the frogs out, and they're all throwing the frogs out the window, you know, because the kid has E.T. at home, he's thinking about weird ugly creatures, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna save the frogs, right? So my dad walks in the room and says, watch this, and he's holding a bucket, right? And he holds the bucket up to the TV and pulls something out of the TV with his hands. And then he shows us in the bucket, and he's like, look, I got him from the TV. And lo and behold, there's a frog in the bucket. So my dad happened to be in the backyard while we were watching this movie and caught a frog, and then saw the scene that we were watching on TV and just made it look like he pulled a frog out of the TV. But of course, being a child, me and my sister, we were mind blown in every possible way. And that started the next 6 months of me and my sister trying to pull anything we could out of TV shows, movies, commercials. You know what also messed with me? That damn microwave from Spy Kids, if you know what I'm talking about. Since recording that last sentence you heard, and now I have cracked my tooth. So now I look like Beetlejuice, so I'm prepared to finish this. Another fond memory I have related to movies is, it's not even exactly a memory, it's just like a thing that happened that was very bizarre looking back on it. So me, my sister, and my brother would wake up at like 5, 6 in the morning before we had to go to school. But we watched Terminator 2, you know, dramatic action movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, before school, every day for a year straight. And then one day we just decided not to. And I don't know if it was my mom's idea or my brother's idea or what, but that's just a really weird thing to do when you're like a 3rd grader. And when Arnold dies at the end, you know, and he goes in the lava and gives the thumbs up, my brother would cry every time. It's like, dude, we've already seen this 180 times. Sorry, spoiler, but it's still worth watching despite knowing how it ends. But yeah, I don't have answers on why that was a part of my childhood morning routine. This painting is one of the most time-consuming things I've ever done, and I realized that if you want any of your artwork or anything to get better, just take longer. And I know that's such like a obvious thing, I guess, but like truly taking your time on something and not rushing it, I feel like is a big part of growing as an artist. Like sometimes when you work on a piece, you're like, okay, it's done, but you know it's not really done, but you decided it was done. And honestly, do you disagree? I could probably talk about movies forever, but then my opinions would get more and more annoying. So I wanted to leave you with this. And this is gonna sound dumb, but I need you guys to try to stop thinking so damn much. And I'm saying it because that's what I do. I think, oh, what do I want to do? What do I want to make? Whoa, what am I gonna do today? Oh God. And you just end up sitting there for hours. And I decided that my brain is wrong most of the time. So instead of just like pondering my orb of my schedule, I just grab a cup and fill it with paint water and set everything down. You know, whatever you're struggling with doing, like just don't think about it anymore. Like, screw that. Just do it. You can do it. Once you get started on whatever it is you're doing, whether you finally pick up the paintbrush or open Adobe Premiere, once you're in the zone, you'll remember why you love it so much in the first place. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'm excited to work on the next one.